My name is Commissioner Frank Avila of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And the name of our show today, and this is a quote from my friend, Dr. Prakasam Tata. If I can't do it, anyone can do it. And I'd like to introduce my guest, Prakasam Tata.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Prakasam, thank you for being on our show. And I have met Dr. Prakasam Tata. He was a former employee at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And he was one of the top scientists in the environmental world, in the environmental industry throughout the world. Everyone knew Dr. Prakasam Tata. Now, Doctor, I'm going to just call you Prakash.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay. Prakash, you are originally from India, and you had your early education in India.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your education and your family.
Well, it's a long story, but I will start by saying I was born in a small town called Vizianagaram, Andhra Pradesh, and it says about 100,000 population. My early education was in a very, very small school. We used to sit on the floor, and we don't have any television sets or computers or anything like that. It is just a teacher, one teacher, teaching English, Telugu, my mother tongue, mathematics, and everything else. And that's up to, say, 5th grade or so. We don't have school desks or anything. And in the 6th grade, it is called a middle school there, and it's up to 8th grade, like here, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And that was again in the medium of instruction is local language, and then there used to be one class in English. And after that, high school, the 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade only, not the 12th grade. And here, my teachers are so concerned about education. They used to actually talk with each of the students and so forth. And that is called the high school diploma. At the end of the 11th year of education, you get a diploma. Believe it or not, my mother pushed me because I was 13 when I completed my 11th grade.
13 years old?
Yes. And I don't know, she only told me one thing. My mother was my guru, my teacher, my mentor, because my father died when I was 3 years old. He was a PhD.
Oh.
The first PhD in Andhra University in chemistry, and you visited that campus.
Yes.
You know, visit there. And my mother was only probably 5th grade. They were all arranged marriages, in India in those days. Yeah. But the values were fantastic. My mother said, stay in school. Otherwise, we'll beg. That's what she used to say that. So that motivated me to be in the school. And then at the age of 13, I finished this, and then I joined the college. At the age of 17, I got my bachelor's degree. And I also got married at the time.
And all this was in India?
In India.
Now, what did you do after completing your education in India?
Well, I still have 2 more years. I did my master's degree also in India.
Oh, yeah.
And then, something interesting happened.
Yeah.
I was a rank student. I was prepared to do my PhD. And since I was a rank student, my mentor, Dr. Nath, he gave me a scholarship to do my PhD at the age of 19. But then I got an interview at an institute called the All India Institute of Hygiene and Public Health in Calcutta. This tall American, about 6.5 feet tall, now he came as a visiting professor to teach sanitary engineering in the All India Institute of Hygiene and Public Health. And I applied for a job, for a research assistant. I don't know what he saw in me. Among the other people who contested for that job, one job, research assistant, the topic was very interesting. Rural sanitation and water supplies. Okay. Yeah. The project was on septic tank research, and he didn't ask me any questions about engineering, or science or anything. He was telling me about the importance of this subject. In the coming 25 years in the world, they will be talking about pollution. India, about 75 to 80% of the people live in rural areas. They don't have a good water supply, nor sanitation. Open defecation is the practice, mostly in the villages. So I said, you will be very well prepared to help the people of India. So I would suggest that you consider this job, if at all it is given to you. He motivated me like unbelievable. And so I went back. One fine morning, I received a letter that I got the job. Then I went back to my guru, who gave me the scholarship to do my PhD.
Yeah.
I had to consult with him, because he's the one
Yes,
who really
sure.
gave it to me. So he said, "Prakash, you go.
Yeah.
That is an important field. I want my students to be in good fields.
Yeah.
You go." He gave me his blessings. So I just went to Calcutta, and there got my training, and I lived in villages, rural water supply and sanitation. In this village particularly, there was no electricity, no water supply. I used to sleep on the floor because of lack of accommodation. But I was highly motivated to do that. That's what I did in this village in West Bengal. And then I got a job offer in a national laboratory, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in Nagpur. There also same thing, rural water supply and sanitation. I was sent to another village. There I worked for 7 years in India after my education, to answer your question in a short sentence, in rural water supply and sanitation from 1955 to 1962.
And how old were you then?
I started at 19.
Yeah.
I was 26 for 7 years.
Oh, 7 years.
Then that was the education in India.
Yeah.
Then I continued my journey afterwards.
Now, when did you come to the United States, and what motivated you to
Yes.
come to the United States?
See, I really wanted to do a PhD because somebody told me, if you don't get a job, nobody should tell you because of lack of qualifications.
Yes.
What degree is there other than PhD? There is no other degree, right? So I thought I would achieve that thing so that nobody would tell me you don't have the qualifications. So in that I was not able to fulfill my dream of getting a PhD in India. And in the process of these 7 years, I used to voraciously reading American literature, in the wastewater field, what they were doing. A lot of things were happening
Yes.
in America, in the United States, and before that in Great Britain also. And then particularly in one university, Rutgers University in New Jersey, this professor already published about 300 papers in journals in the environmental field.
Interesting.
Wastewater treatment, okay, that too. And so I was fascinated by his research, and I simply wrote one letter. I want to do my PhD under your tutelage.
Yeah.
And this is what he did, and this is what I have learned from your research, and this is the area of research I want to do with you as my mentor. Believe it or not, Commissioner, in 3 weeks I got a letter. I got a scholarship, and then I had to pack and come to the United States in 1962
That fast.
at Rutgers University to do my PhD.
Now, I know you've been working in the environmental field, engineering and science field, particularly dealing with water supply and wastewater treatment. How long have you been doing work in the environmental field?
Let us say I started my field in 1955,
1955.
and I continued working, no change
No
in the
change.
field at all,
Yeah.
no diversion.
Yeah.
Up to 2002,
2002.
I worked in a productive way. I retired from the Water Reclamation District
Yeah.
in 2002. After my PhD, I have choices.
Yes.
Some university gave me my position like assistant professor and so forth, but I chose Cornell University to teach there and do
Okay.
research. There I did 7 years of research.
Yes.
Okay, in the agricultural waste management and water quality and river water quality, lake water quality and stuff like that. And so I got the call from Water Reclamation District, and I was reading the history of Water Reclamation District.
Yes.
For crying out loud. And it was so, they were pioneers in a lot of research doing that in Chicago. So I was always excited about it. So I came here to Chicago in 2004. I'm not sorry. That is after 1974, sorry.
Yeah.
1974. A job was given to me by Dr. Luheng. I met him
Yeah.
at the Purdue University.
Yes.
And it was so interesting. I gave like an excellent paper on nutrient removal in those days. And there was wall-to-wall people, about 400, 500 people at Purdue University. And people from the Water Reclamation District were there. Dr. Luhing also was there at
Yeah.
that time. And by chance, we happened to have a chat, and he said, would you like to come and check us out? So he invited me for an interview.
Yeah.
I said, I will come, but invite me on a Friday, because you have a great shore, lake shore. I want to enjoy that on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So just no problem. So he invited me on a Friday. And then something interesting happened. On Monday, I was writing in my office, sitting there, my research results and things like that. So my head mentor came in and said, Prakash, what is this small bird told me? You want to leave us? Why do you ask that? I said. And got this little bird telling me that you're thinking of leaving. I said, no, I told you I'm going to Chicago. Those people wanted to talk to me. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
No, I just got a call. They were asking me how bad you are, how good you are, So, no, I'm not going to stop you. But the mentor also was planning to move at that time, So we were planning to go together. But I told him Chicago is my preference.
Yeah.
And this opportunity came, and there was no turning back. And then I got the call from Cecil,
Yeah.
Dr. Luhing, and that was on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I got a call, and we're going to offer you a job. Would you like to come and join us? I said, it depends. What are you going to offer me as a salary? But he was very nice to me, and I said, I want to teach. So he talked with Dr. Patterson at that time,
Yeah.
the chairman of the Department of Environmental Engineering at the IIT.
Yeah.
And so he asked me to teach in the evening.
Yeah.
So it's like a package deal
Yeah.
for me. And so I just packed my stuff and then came the same year.
Interesting.
1980.
Interesting, Dr. Tata, and that's why the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago is the #1 wastewater agency in the world.
Yes, I agree.
We have the largest wastewater plant. We have the largest reservoirs. We have the largest phosphorus removal plant in the world, the largest ultraviolet light processing plant in the world. And it's all because of personnel like Dr. Tata. As I mentioned, Dr. Tata is one of the top environmental scientists in the world. And we were very
Thank you.
fortunate to have Dr. Tata with us at the agency for what,
29, 30 years roughly.
almost 30 years
Right.
working for us here in the Chicagoland area. Very few people know how important your work was to protect the health and welfare of the people here in Cook County, and not only here in Cook County, but through all the United States. Because what you did in your research, people were using it throughout the United States and the world. We're very fortunate, Dr. Tata.
And I'm equally fortunate because India was plagued with waterborne disease, about 75
Yes.
to 80% of disease, waterborne diseases. And Chicago, I read in India, 12% of the population died in 1887. And the Water Reclamation District, at that time it is Sanitary District, was formed to protect Lake Michigan.
Yes, yes.
And in India, there are water bodies. India has 16% of the world population and only 4% of the water resources.
Yeah.
And
4% of the water
4%,
resource, and we're living in heaven here in the
right,
Chicago area.
and then I see, my God, you have Lake Michigan here, a very great source of water supply, fresh water supply, and that is contaminated. It was like a developing country also at that time, Chicago.
At that time,
At
yes.
that time.
Yes.
But the wisdom and the quick action that the pundits of Chicago, so to speak, took the action immediately to form this sanitary district.
Yes.
And then protect Lake Michigan.
Right, right.
It's a remarkable thing. Unfortunately, our field, as you know, Commissioner, the field advances only when disasters happen. It should be the other way. We should preempt any disaster,
yeah.
I think.
Right. And because water is so precious, our body is over 60% of water.
Right.
We need water every day to live. And here in the Chicagoland area, the Great Lakes has 20% of all the water, surface water in the world. Mm-hmm. And 90% of all the surface water in the United States is right here in the Great Lakes there.
Yes, yes.
So water is precious. You know what? Particularly in the field of waste water treatment and management, could you explain to the audience what do you mean by waste treatment and management? Because very few people, when I mention wastewater, human waste, or Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, they think we are the water filtration plant at Navy Pier, the drinking water. What is it? Explain to the audience.
Waste management, anything that we use in this present day world ends up part of it as a waste, like we throw in food in our body and next day it is going to come as a waste. And when you look at it, there are so many sources of waste coming into society. Take the field of agriculture, for example. You harvest food, you make lots of excellent products, nutritional products in the processing industry. And also when you go to the villages, you see the farmers cultivating the crops, and then they have the agricultural residues, and the animals produce manure, and then they have these chicken farms. The chickens produce a lot of manure. They constantly eat, and then their excreta contains 5% nitrogen by dry weight. Okay, and that is a waste. In small confined areas, you grow hundreds of thousands of chickens in one little hen house. Like that, on the places I worked at upstate Cornell, in Cornell University, on agricultural waste management, there are 100,000 birds in one cage.
Yes.
Like they say to me, in terms of manure contribution, 10 chickens contribute about one man's waste, human waste, okay?
Yeah.
Now there are 100,000 birds in one cage, in one house. That'd be 10,000 people. Like that, there are 10 of them in one small area, confined area.
Yeah.
Look at that, 100,000 people living in one small area.
Yes.
This is a chicken farm,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So like that, pigs, ducks in New York, upstate New York, anything that the humans eat, they produce a waste.
Yes.
Pigs, cows, horses, That's animal waste is really big problem. This confined animal feed operations and so forth. That's one waste. Now look at the solid waste. How much of garbage we produce every day. We are running out of space in the cities, and we have to haul it to a long distance. Is it necessary for us to use this plastic, so much of it? It doesn't degrade. So there's again a waste, like that. Hospital waste, you name it. Anywhere there is a productive activity of for human welfare, you will find some waste materials. Okay, and I consider all these waste materials as resources to me. We can still reuse them, utilize them, and recycle them, and still make a lot of byproducts, and there is no need for our to waste this stuff. We can minimize our waste production. We can reuse some of those wastes, that they can recycle and reuse it. So that is what I call the whole package of starting from the use of raw materials to the end production line of producing these things, and our consumption. Due to the consumption, we produce waste and so forth. This whole gamut of waste production and waste treatment, utilization, and reuse, that's what I call waste management. It's just not only water that we use today. Whatever water we use today is going to be wastewater tomorrow, right? And that wastewater has to be treated because the good Lord has provided only a finite quantity of water on our planet, and we have to intelligently use it, produce wastewater out of it, it is generated, and then we have to intelligently treat it and recycle and reuse it for production purposes. This is what I mean by waste management.
And maybe we shouldn't call it waste, maybe we should call it resource recovery.
Resource recovery, resource management, these are, any words that we can use, but the bottom line is we have finite resources on planet Earth. It is our duty to make this life sustainable for everybody so that the future generations also would enjoy whatever we have been enjoying altogether up to this time. We go, what about our next generations? If we pollute our water bodies, if the earth is polluted, the water is polluted, the air is polluted, everything. So we have to pass to our generations the way we found it for our convenience and use. That's what the whole suite of waste management. You cannot separate one from the other.
Now, as I mentioned, that Dr. Tata worked at the district, and we call it the Water Reclamation District, the district. He worked a little under 30 years. And with his knowledge, I was first introduced into his favorite project, what he wanted to do. Dr. Tata wanted to transfer his technology and resource that he learned and did here in the Chicagoland area and spread it out through international areas. So Dr. Tata says, Frank, how would you like to go to India and see how we could help them out, because of what we're doing here in the Chicagoland area is where India is at 100 years ago, where we were at. Now, so what he wanted to do, Dr. Tata, is bring, he doesn't want India to take another 100 years to be where we're at. So we went on a mission trip. Explain what we did on that mission trip and the people you brought over to give workshops.
Yeah, before I address that issue, I must acknowledge Rotary International. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Naperville. And after my retirement, I determined to retire because at that time I was fighting for our Class A permit, site-specific permit with EPA. And also, I was writing a book. I finished it, and I said, this is the time for me to give back, okay? And how do you give back?
Yes.
This is my dilemma. And so, I'm a single man here, have this passion to give back something to the country of my birth, and to also to the land, the United States of America that adopted me. So I have two obligations, that I'm very clear on my objectives. Money is okay. My kids are gone, and they are doing much better than me. My wife is a simple woman, and then she doesn't have too much expectations in the sense of luxury, cruises, yachts, and this and kind of stuff.
So you've been married how long, Dr. Tata?
As of today, about 65 years.
65 years.
2018, we'll perform our 65th wedding anniversary. I was married at the age of 17.
Yeah.
I'm 82 now.
80, and he's been married 65 years without any arguments. Only discussions, but no arguments.
I think you put a good word. You see, I've yet to find a man and a woman who never agreed for everything each and every person said. So actually, that makes the marriage, you know, you discuss it. I like the word that you use, you discuss. Sometimes the discussion will be a heated discussion. So, but she's pretty good at that, and we are really contented with our lives, and she let me do whatever I wanted to do. So I found Rotary International for me is a good vehicle, service about self. And so I joined Rotary, a Rotary Club of Naperville, excellent bunch of people, very dedicated workers. They're giving type international service, you know, for the developing countries. We want to do not only just India, other countries also, who need our help, particularly in the field of water and sanitation. That's my forte. And one of the objectives, focus areas of Rotary is water and sanitation. So I nicely fitted in that kind of an organization. And now one of the things, as you said, I wanted to show the poverty in India. I took some Rotarians, and also then I told you, I invited you to come and see practically. You see this, India is progressing well, software guys are all over the place, you know, in the United States. That is true. One side of the India is progressing, but the other side of India is not progressing.
And that's a small percentage that's progressing.
Yes.
There's a bigger, 98% is not progressing.
The poverty still remain, and the hinterland is like that. You can see these big cities like roads and stuff like that. But you go to the side streets, again, there's a lot of garbage.
Yes.
Plastic flying and so forth. You know, we'll see this in almost all the cities in India. And to me, I think almost all the water bodies in India are polluted. I challenge anybody to tell me there is one single water body that is pristine pure. I want some tangible results. This is a challenge I'm throwing to the audience. If anybody knows a pure water body in India, let me know. I would like to see that.
You heard that, audience?
Yeah.
Dr. Tata gave you a challenge.
So, I mean, this is true. I mean, we in the United States, with all the resources we have, still a lot of our water bodies are polluted. We still haven't completely reverted back to the natural way the streams were flowing. We know that. The TMDLs is still being total maximum daily loads we're working on it still.
Well, you mentioned the waste the waste treatment we have here, when you mention all these cages that bite the chickens and how much they eliminate their waste, equivalent to a certain amount of people.
Yes, it's a big problem. The slaughtering, cow slaughter, the animal waste manure, the punch manure that is produced there, and the food waste.
Yes.
You see, the irony is, after consuming so much of food, we still waste a lot of food, which you can feed a nation
Yes.
on a daily basis. Okay, so how do you take that actual good food, which we are throwing it away? That's another issue. All nutritionists will argue about that, So, there are so many problems, but as an individual, I can do only so much. But collectively, synergistically, with like-minded people, I think we can do a lot. So I found Rotary as the mechanism, and I joined Rotary, and we did that. And one of the objectives that I said was, I want to take some people who are in this field, like you, Commissioner Frank, and other professionals. I took, some people
Yes.
went from water reclamation
Yeah.
district as volunteers. A couple of times we went there.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing is on the last trip, we were funded by the Telangana government
Right.
to go there.
And
right?
also the International Rotary
Yes.
helped funded it too.
International Rotary.
I'm very impressed
Yes.
by Rotary. They know their mission is to help the undeveloped countries.
Correct. And you witnessed that we did go and conducted workshops. You were there twice. I'm really happy that you agreed to come with us and see for yourself how the conditions are. And thank you for offering the help to transfer the technology, if they're willing to accept it, and so on and so forth. That's all what I can do.
Yes.
I'm not a policymaker, I'm not an administrator, I'm just a volunteer.
Yes.
A Rotarian with a passion to do things, that's all.
Yes.
So I can motivate people, I can do things with my hands, but again, during this process, I learned a couple of things. One, you need the passion and the persistence to do the work, and secondly, you need the finances. Without vitamin M, I
Yes,
call
yeah.
it, money,
Yes.
we can't do much things.
No.
Here, there is a lot of charity involved.
Yes.
And that's what I have been trying to do, being charitable at my level.
Yes.
Plus also seek charity from organizations like Rotary. And also I have a small non-profit which is called Bharathi Theertha,
Yeah.
the abode of the angel of education
Yes.
and knowledge. That's the Sanskrit
Yeah.
translation, literally translation of the Sanskrit word Bharathi Theertha.
Yeah.
Okay, that through that, I give my charity, and then my friends also donate a little money to it. So it is not much money, but when there is a passion to do things, you will be very efficient.
Yes.
You don't waste anything. My overhead is zero because I
Yeah.
do everything
Right.
myself.
As what Dr. Tata says that, I think the Rotary gave, about $100,000 or,
See.
and with that $100,000, it's like 60 times more. If they gave 100,000, it's like 600,000 or $1 million, and no overhead. All of that money went towards the mission work in
Right.
India.
That's it. See, we did a
No waste, no waste.
No waste at all. And we, the mission of this, my charity is education, environment, and health. For example, on March 3rd, we raised money through Rotary International Foundation. We donated equipment worth $130,000, cancer treatment and research equipment.
Yes,
In 2016, we established a dialysis center.
yes,
India is the diabetic capital of the world, believe me. And a lot of people are getting diabetic in the sense because the lifestyle is changing. Some middle-class people, they are following the Western habits of these burgers and pizzas, and they're getting obese. When I was in school, I was
And
little
I'm glad you brought that up because the fast food industry
Right.
is growing faster in India, the fast food industry, but their health is deteriorating too.
Yes.
And because of this combination of what we eat here in the United States is going over in India, and their health is deteriorating because of the food. And now they need what? You had the International Rotary had to invest what, $160,000.
Yes.
For the
again,
dialysis.
you see small givers. And it's a beautiful foundation, Rotary International Foundation, when there is a need, and you can make the project sustainable. These are the two criteria we use. I mean, there are charitable organizations, they give money, write a check. my goodness, I feel very happy. I wrote a check, I'm happy, I'm contented. No, you have to make sure that the money is used properly, and 100% of it. So this is what Rotary is all about. We go there, we make sure that the things are done properly. I go, for example, every year to India.
Yeah.
I make sure wherever we are doing a project, that is being sustained properly with good operation and maintenance and things like that. Otherwise, it's a waste of money. Our people are, United States, very generous. We give a lot of money. The other day there was a report. I think it was $240 billion in charity. Number one country in the world. It was more money than last year.
Yeah.
That money is charity. And it was better than the gross domestic product of Israel and Portugal. That's what I heard. That much money we raised it for charity.
Yeah.
People like you and I
Yeah.
give little money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And time.
Time, of course.
Time.
I don't put a price tag on my
Yeah,
time.
no.
It is zero.
Yes.
But when I consult, I
Sure.
charge maybe $300
Sure.
an hour, $500 an hour.
It's
Depends.
like Dr. Prakash mentioned that we went to India, some of our staff, and the government of India paid, and the Rotary paid, and your nonprofit group
Yes.
participated in paying. And we brought myself and about 3 engineers over to give workshops
Right.
and how to operate wastewater plants. Because as I mentioned, here in the Chicagoland area, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago are the expert in treating wastewater. Very few people know that. And so now they come to us and see how they could use our technique, our technology to improve the undeveloped countries. So we're getting calls from all over the world to see how we operate and maintain wastewater plants here.
That's right.
And also Dr. Prakash talks about what prevention. The thing is, I know we have to treat, but we also have to talk about prevention. And this is where Dr. Tata's nonprofit group comes in, and the International Rotary Club, because they also talk about prevention.
Prevention of disease.
Yeah,
of course.
explain some of the.
See, prevention is a very important thing. If you don't, look at all the drugs, the medicines that the people are consuming like crazy. Simple rules. The good Lord has given us good bodies. And then a little bit of exercise, good food habits, not overindulging in all kinds of beverages and things like that. Very simple. Only 1 hour at a personal, even today, I do practice this. 1 hour of my time is given to my exercise.
That's excellent.
And meditation.
Every day?
Every day, 5 to 6 days a week. This I do for 55 minutes on the elliptical machine.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 15 minutes in a meditation. And then I go to the gym to pull a few weights and then take my shower over there. This is my routine.
Yes.
And look at me. I'm still okay. And I can still sustain my energy levels, even to 16, 17 hours a day. I can do that. I don't know, I'm not bragging about it, but that's the way I am, structured right now. I'm still active. Every year I go to India for 1 to 3 months, anywhere, depending on that. And then I work towards an objective, being a little bit charitable.
Yes.
And you saw our school and that the computer center.
Explain that one village, what you did, where you set up a community toilets in that one building.
That's right, yeah.
Remember?
Okay.
And that didn't cost that much money.
That was not much, $43,000.
Explain to the why you did that.
I'm glad you asked that question, because my dream was, even at the age of 19, 20, when I saw women in the rural areas hold it up till about 6:30, 7 in the evening to go to ease themselves.
Yes.
And they don't have latrines, they go to the open to ease themselves.
Yeah.
And I felt very sad about that. Yeah. And I said, my dream was to provide a safe drinking water supply and also a nice place for them to ease, a complete integrated water supply and sanitation facility system, so that they don't have to go to the open fields to ease themselves.
Yeah.
Eliminate dope and defecation, at least for a small community. That was my dream.
And a lot of the communities in India are still doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Prime Minister Modi made it a Swachh Bharat, that Clean India campaign, to eliminate open defecation. When did he do that? 3 years ago.
Yes.
But I started doing it long time ago.
Yes.
I did openly, that open defecation, 86% in this facility that I built through Rotary Foundation grants and my giving,
Yeah.
other my friends giving.
And this is where Rotary came in.
That's where Rotary came.
Yeah.
That's why I applied for a grant. The Rotarians saw the need, and then they liked it, and it is sustained. Even
Yeah.
today, it is still working, although
Yes.
it is 6 or 7 years ago it was built.
Yeah.
So some of these things were built before, open pit latrines and things like that for use, but that they are defunct because they stink up the place overnight and there's no maintenance and operation. Government can't do everything for these people. And you have to take care of your own systems, okay? And to expect everything from the government is kind of foolish. We have to keep the awareness going. This is for you. You are doing it for yourself.
Yes.
The government will help you. Any country, I'm telling you
Yeah.
this. So you have to do it. You have to play your part. You have to pay the taxes to make this happen. That's all. It's not something big that you're sacrificing. You have to do this for your own comfort. That's what I preach when I go there every time to India. Do something for yourself.
And this village had what you built 6, 7 years ago, where
Yeah,
the
and that is still working.
yeah.
And you know, the
And,
model is very
and,
simple.
and they maintain it themselves now.
They're maintaining it. You know, I asked the village, women is a great force. I consider them as primordial energy sources in every household, okay? Without a woman in the house who is sacrificing so much time in the kitchen,
Yeah.
rearing the kids, or who is going to sleep with a little poor kid when he's sick? Mom will go there
Yeah.
and do that, right?
Yes.
And who gives the food for the husband when he comes after 8, 10, 12 days
Right.
and also work in a day? That's a woman of the house.
Right, right,
Okay?
woman of the house,
Who
yeah.
is going to take the kid to the school?
Woman of the
Woman.
house.
Go to
yes.
the bus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And who is going to be, we call them soccer moms.
Yeah.
Who is going to take these kids to? Woman.
Yes.
That to me is a goddess of the house.
Yes.
Okay. And now, those are the people I talked with. When I started this project, these are the people I talked with. You tell me your needs. What do you want? I sat with them 15, 20 times at least before this project that you were
Yes.
mentioning. And they agreed the benefits. Their health will improve. The waterborne diarrhea and all that soon after the monsoon in India will go away.
Yes.
They will not. They don't have to go to the doctor. This is the kind of thing I was telling them, and they bought it. And I told them, but one thing you have to do. I'm giving you protected water supply. You don't have to go to the well to pull the water with a big pot of water on your head.
Yes.
Here, we'll produce the water, save drinking water. How much money you will pay for say 10 liters or 20 liters? They came with a number. I said, okay. That is the only thing that they can afford, they said. And we are selling the water to them for that price. There is a non-profit organization. They have volunteered, and they collect the money in the coupon system.
Yes.
And that money is used for actually maintaining and operating this wastewater, you know, the latrine complex, bathrooms and latrines, you know. They are flush latrines, beautiful latrines, tile bathrooms and things like that. So, once you get used to that comfort, you're willing to pay even more. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
That's why they like it. Every time I go there, they're so happy about it. Just like the dialysis center I mentioned.
And this is what you're trying to introduce to every village in India.
I hope that's what Mr. Modi is trying to do.
But that's your mission too.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm going to do now. We are going to attempt a project in the hilly tribal area to give them water. It is so difficult for them. They climb up about 15, 20 degree slope
Yes.
in these hills, you know. The path is only 15 inches wide,
Okay.
covered with rocks and pebbles and stuff like that. And either they have to go up or go down. Every 2-3 kilometers they walk to get that pot of water.
To get water, yes.
Okay? Now, one of the volunteers is Dr. Roger Iliff, you know, he's there, and he volunteered to come with me.
Yeah, he's a doctor here.
He is a doctor here, he's a practicing doctor.
Yeah.
He retired from California after working there 30 years.
And he's a Rotary.
He's joined our Rotary Club. He went with us.
Yes.
And he saw the plight of these people. So we are trying to develop a global grant, again with Rotary Foundation's help, monetarily.
Yeah.
and hope that dream will be realized
Yes.
with God willing,
And let's face it, India, their population is 1.2 billion people.
Right.
They're going to surpass China as the most populated country in the world. There, and as I mentioned, they need water. They need good water to drink. They need more treatment plants. These are smaller treatment plants. Like ours is the largest in the
course.
world.
Yeah, yeah.
Ours is 1.4 billion gallons a day that we treat.
Right.
There, we're not talking that large of a
No.
gallon.
Actually, there are big cities. They have big sewage treatment plants. Now, the new government, which came into power, one of the things they want to build a lot of sewage treatment plants. But one of the problems I see, maintenance and operation. If there are three things that the
Yes.
Indians want to succeed at,
Yeah.
after building these treatment plants, they have to fortify their maintenance and operations at each of these plants that they're going to build. And remember, in our delegation, when we went
Yes,
there,
yeah.
one of the things we emphasized about maintenance and operation and training the operator, unskilled people, to make them skilled to operate treatment plants. Otherwise, you spend billions of dollars worth of rupees in India to build these treatment plants, they will be defunct in no time.
Yeah.
Unless you have skilled operators there to maintain and manage,
Yes.
train managers.
Yeah.
Again, efficiencies and economy of the scale. have
What
to be
would you
done.
like to accomplish now, Dr. Tata?
If really I want to accomplish this project in the tribal areas to give them safe drinking water. Two, based on the memorandum of understanding, Water Reclamation District has signed with the Environmental Protection Training and Research Institute.
Yes.
I want that thing to actually take place, and it's up to Indians to accept that challenge and then seek the help that they want. It's up to them. Thanks to you and the Water Reclamation District, you are ready to offer that help to them. And if they don't want it, I don't know what I can do. You are offering it, they are willing to take it. I don't know what their policies and how they are going to make it happen. I was talking to them, please do come, they are asking me.
Yeah.
So it's up to them to do that. So if there are two missions in my life, if I want to do this next 1 or 2 years, I want them to accomplish this. They're coming to here and say how observe our operations and maintenance and take the knowledge back, any technology they want. That's one thing I want to see. Second is the tribal water supply and sanitation project I want to do.
Well, that's good. I know we have what we call a memorandum of understanding, and we have it with India, we have it with Denmark. We like to transfer our technology and help these countries.
And thank you very much for your help and encouragement. I cherish it a lot, Commissioner Frank. Personally, you have my assurance I will be the best ambassador from our country to India in this particular field. Thank you. God bless.